which we meet. In Cairns, if you're Moyawallabari, Yindinji people and Irukandji people. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and welcome any of Australia's first innovators, Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander people that we have here today. We do have quite a few First Nations focused events through the week, but we also have quite a lot of First Nations speakers who are doing amazing things, and they just happen to be First Nations as well. So a couple of housekeeping things. If you need to use the bathroom, whose first day is today? Who's on a whole first day and they're wondering, oh awesome, there's a whole bunch of you. A lot of people have been here for a week, so don't feel like, wow, everyone knows each other. It's like they've just been here for a couple of days, so feel free to put your hand up and say, I'm new, can you tell me your name and where you're from? So the bathrooms are past the reception to the left. So past Mackenzie, to the left. We're having our lunch out here. So during lunchtime, this door is open as well. So lunch is here, and then you can come into the rooms and eat if you feel like getting onto a table or having a conversation with someone there as well. We do have the investor room is on level 6, so you need to go to the lifts out the front of Mackenzie, up to level 6, but you won't need a key to get in there as well, and there's a sign there. If you've got a meeting with someone from Advanced Queensland, they've also got a room on the lift, a room in the same level as well. So who is excited about this morning's plenary session? Yeah. I hope you guys are excited. I'm from Sydney, we've got our shorts on. I met Wenee by the pool yesterday, and Todd's very first time, luckily we met on the line beforehand. So this morning we're really excited to have Wenee and Tom Derricott's Yup, and they have got a book coming out in November called Writing the Unicorn. Has anyone in the room written a book? It's a big process, isn't it? How long did it take you to write your first book, Joel?
My first book was a book of poetry, so years that I didn't put together. Yeah.
And then what's the fastest that someone came up to you and told you that it took them to read it?
A night.
Yes. It's always the thing. People spend years and years and years and years to get all of the knowledge and experience they have into a book, and then people are like, oh my gosh, I loved your book so much, it took me a night to read. And you're like, that took me years to write. Years. So really excited that we actually have a book called Writing the Unicorn coming out, but not just obviously for the book, but I think when you're looking at commercial publishers, they're really picky on what they're publishing at the moment, and I think because they're publishing stuff in the startup space, that's a really, really good sign. So I'd like to welcome Wenee and Thomas. Welcome to TIFF, and look forward to hearing what you have to share with us about what you found about startup in Australia.
Thank you, Tara, and good morning, Cairns. How's everyone feeling today? Yes, that's what we like to hear. It is such a joy to be here with you. As Tara mentioned, my name is Thomas. This is Wenee. We are the co-authors of Writing the Unicorn, and we are so humbled to be with such a diverse group of people today.
Absolutely, and we couldn't possibly hope to capture just the diversity of innovation in this room. You know, we have people working in the agricultural sector, X42, very cool, rolled with that pitch very well as well. AI, quantum computing, environmental management. Honestly, it's as far as I can see, and that's why I wanted to work with you today.
See, when we were writing our book, Writing the Unicorn, we interviewed over 20 different startup founders and CEOs from across Australia and New Zealand. We found that they all brought different experience and different backgrounds, but there was one thing that we learned, a universal truth, which is that Australia is a fantastic place to solve a problem. You don't really need to look back too much further than the last 20 years to see why we punch up on a global stage and why you're really well positioned to do something interesting.
So here's a little bit of a reminder, a bit of a highlight reel. Let's get away from Silicon Valley. We're nowhere near Silicon Valley here.
Gone.
No. So Afterpay, $39 billion exit, started in Sydney, 2014. Atlassian started on a $10,000 credit card loan. You know Atlassian, don't need to elaborate further. We have, obviously, Cochlear, which gave the gift of sound to thousands. We have Cyro, and we have some reps from Cyro in this room. They pioneered WLAN technology, which made it Wi-Fi possible?
So, we've got some pretty solid case studies here, but how can you all apply any of this? Like, it's great to know that we've got some success stories, but how can you be one of them? Well, there was another truth that we found from speaking to all these different startup founders. And it's that if you want to launch something new, there are invariably going to be two skill sets. They're going to be your builder and your seller, exemplified here by arguably the most famous builder-seller combo in history, the Steves, Jobs and Wozniak.
All right. So a quick show of hands. So who in this room would say that you are a quintessential seller? Quintessential seller.
Okay. And who would consider themselves the mastermind behind the scenes, building the technology that's going to change the world? Who is a builder?
Oh, that's
Okay.
not surprising. That's
Well
not
represented.
surprising. And who didn't raise their hands?
And you know what? That is completely fine. In fact, that is why it is so great that you are here. A lot of people like to claim that a startup doesn't really begin until someone's launched a product or until they've secured funding. But it starts in moments like this, when you're trying to determine how you are best positioned to solve a problem. So today, we're going to cover 4 different case studies, 2 builders and 2 sellers. We're going to look at some of the problems they faced, how they solved them, and hopefully convey to you how you can learn some lessons from them.
Absolutely. All right, let's meet the builders. And did you ever see builders? More like builders.
They're from Builders Monthly.
Yeah, all right. Let's take it away with Hayden Smith.
So Hayden Smith's resume is pretty much the gold standard of a builder's resume. Out of university, he landed a prestigious internship for Microsoft in Seattle. He built and raced a solar-powered car across Australia. And he has taught computer science at university for over a decade. So you'd think that he's pretty well positioned to be the technical co-founder of Perla, which is a long-term investing platform. But here's the kicker. Until he launched Perla, Hayden had never invested in anything beyond a savings account. This is like somebody starting Tesla without having a driver's license. So how did he solve that problem? Well, he did what good builders do. He took his solution in search of a problem. He knew he had the technical skills to build something, so he immersed himself in an online community for financial independence, retire early, or FIRE advocates. He went to subreddits, he spoke to them, he learned the kinds of things that they wanted solved by an online platform, and he learned how the incumbents weren't solving those problems. And then he set out building those features. Fast forward to today, Perla has over $2 billion in funds under management. They've expanded from being a simple shares platform to offering a range of products from superannuation to investing for kids. But that's enough about Hayden. Let's hear about Mr. Bowtie over here.
Mr. Bowtie. Nick Whitehouse, bowtie, glasses, classic builder, but that is actually in many ways where the similarities end, because he's nothing like those Silicon Valley founders. Firstly, he started his builder life as Chief Digital Officer for Minter Ellison Rudd Watts, which was a big law firm in New Zealand. Think Suits. You get the picture. And in 2016, the powers that be in Minter Ellison Rudd Watts said, Nick, you're a tech guy, and we've heard about this AI thing. Do something with it. And that was as broad as the brief he was given. So Nick did something eminently sensible. He went to the users, i.e. the lawyers in his firm, and said, what hurts? What are your pain points? And of course they don't totally know, so he just starts following around, feeling his way through, and he discovers this thing called due diligence. Anyone ever encountered due diligence?
You know that it's not a sexy problem.
It's the least sexy problem. No one gets law to do due diligence. Think of a room, fill it with boxes, throw in some junior lawyers and some highlighters, and lock them in there. That's due diligence. They're looking for specific phrases. It's usually for litigation of some kind. And Nick Whitehouse worked with a junior lawyer, Jean Yang, and reduced the work of due diligence, manual work, from 5 days to 3. McCarthy Finch was born, spun out of Minter Ellison Rudd Watts with the VC fund, and then in 3.5 years, one of the fastest exits ever, he was acquired by big US legal tech. During that time, his AI featured on TechCrunch, Battlefield Disrupt, and one thing that he told us that is still, it blows my mind to this day. He said, I went to Silicon Valley, I was in a cafe, and I found out that there was AI that was getting a $100 million check for an idea. And people were coming up talking to us because they're like, Nick, your AI actually works?
And you're actually solving a problem with it.
Wild.
So we have two different builders here. One has focused on a B2B or business to business problem. The other focused on B2C, business to customer. But they both did the same thing. They took their solution, they went searching for a problem, they immersed themselves in the customer base that they wanted to help, and they learned firsthand how they could do it. But now let's take a look at the sellers.
The sellers. Meet Wenee. She was Australia's biggest YouTuber for a little while, 13.3 million subscribers on YouTube, such a big deal that Google named a room for her in Sydney.
True.
She has 21 million followers across all her channels. Her content has 1.89 billion views. She even had a song called Empire, she's looking very Empire there in that picture, that charted on the World Digital Music Billboard charts. So why in the heck is she on this slide? Because during COVID, she was in LA, Content Creator Life hashtag, and one of her partner and some people in her community got her into crypto gaming. And she was a bit of a gaming person, she loved that kind of life, and she said, man, this crypto gaming gameplay is horrible, I hate it, I want a first-person shooter, I like cats, I like them in mech suits, let's go. And so Nyan Heroes is born. She had a $14 million fundraise at a $200 million valuation. How did she even start? She approached a very small community of crypto gaming investors, starting with one in Singapore, who happened to have followed a page featuring a cat in a mech suit.
And from there, the idea was born. Speaking of cats, let's transition to their mortal enemies, dogs. As we see positioned here with Alexis. Now, these days, Alexis is the co-founder and CEO of EverAI, which is an AI startup that is making so much revenue that they are self-funding.
I think it was $20 million.
24
Yeah,
PA. Yeah. But let's return to his founder origin story. Back in 2013, he was a university student who would often care for the pets of friends who would travel overseas. It got him thinking, why can't we have an Airbnb but for pet sitting? You know, something that doesn't prompt pet owners to depend on expensive kennels or flaky neighbors who won't do a good job. That planted the idea, but he did not stop there. He enacted every introvert's worst nightmare. He printed out questionnaires, put them on clipboards, and he went to dog parks to interview dog owners, asking them, what is it that you would look for in a pet sitting platform? What would make you use us instead of going to friends or relatives? What are your current pain points? From there, he built a business case. He used that to raise money. He brought on board his builder. Fast forward to 2020.